I don't get why like people get so famous because like it's like insulting. Like you look like you sound like shit, but you don't. That's what I always think of when people say that shit. This homeless guy has a voice of a golden radiocaster. I'm like, well, he's a guy. And what? I mean, he's a person that has a voice. Like, what'd you expect? Because he's homeless, he sounds like shit. Video capture has crashed. Wake up. Thank you. My life, my life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that
No, Chocolate Rain is about racism, Lilu.
Chocolate Rain's about racism?
No, here.
Oh, I get it.
No, Chocolate Rain, raise your neighborhood insurance rates. Chocolate Rain, make us happy living in the gate. Chocolate Rain made me cross the street the other day. Chocolate Rain made you turn the head the other way.
So it means little black guys falling on you? No, I kind of get what it means. It just means that like everyone's...
The chorus was Chocolate Rain, history quickly crashing through your veins. Chocolate Rain, using you to fall back down again. Like...
Is it the point that like everyone's...
Seldom mentioned on the radio, it's the fear your leaders can control. Worse than swearing, worse than calling names. Say it publicly and you're insane. No one wants to hear about it now. Wish real hard it got away somehow.
I thought it was just a goofy song.
The same crime has a higher price to pay. The judge and jury swear it's not the face.
So it's like...
I told you it was about being black.
It's about like... It's raining chocolate and everyone looks brown?
No, it's about like... Like how...
Well, if everyone looked...
Discrimination.
But if everyone was covered in chocolate...
discriminated against, but I didn't know why the whole term chocolate rain. I don't know what that is.
That's what it means. It means because it's raining chocolate, everyone's brown, so you turn your face because you're brown also. It's poop rain. Everyone's getting rained on with shit, so everyone looks like shit, maybe?
Yeah, like chocolate rain, the bell curve blames the parents' DNA, but the test scores are how much the parents make. Like it's about racism and socioeconomic inequalities.
Yeah, but it's called chocolate rain, and I think strawberries and graham crackers, and I'm chilling in the curb, you know, with a chocolate fountain fondue thing going on, and I'm eating chocolate covered pretzels in the rain. Are you looking up the actual meaning?
No, I'm looking at his stuff.
See, the whole thing with like...
He just does covers now.
The whole thing with like the fact of white people and like when anyone of color, especially me, cites things and calls out racism, it's not like racism. But if a white person wrote a song about white rain and like how everyone's wrong, it would be like the worst fucking thing in the world.
By the way, did you hear that the KKK is opening up its membership to gays, blacks, and Latin Americans?
Were they diversifying?
Yes, the KKK is diversifying. I don't know what the hell they're trying to do now.
They're like church. They've always been like church.
But they're the KKK. They're like known for lynchings and...
Well, I mean, a lot of people have colorful pasts. Look at religion and Catholicism. They killed bunches of people. The Pilgrims killed the Indians. Thanksgiving was the fact that they killed a bunch of Indians and they gave thanks for the fact of killing Indians. Bet you didn't know that. Because your family came over on that Mayflower holding their guns. My family was Indians. You pushed them into Mexico. I know you're not listening to me.
No, I heard you.
I mean, you heard, see? You're just avoiding the racism.
I know. I feel shitty for what my family did, but I can't change that. I can't go in the past. I mean, I have nothing against the First Nationers or the people of the First Nation.
I don't know.
Or Native Mexican or Mexican Indians.
I don't know, man. I don't believe you. I can't believe your white lies like my ancestors believed you.
Really? You can't believe me that I have nothing against Native Mexicans when I'm sleeping with someone who's partially indigenous Mexican.
Who?
You!
Oh. I'll beat them up. I'll fucking punch their faces. Tell me who.
When your family's like pure Mayan. Well, half Mayan.
I don't know my family is.
That's what you told me! And then you told me not to say it too loud at Day of the Dead because you were afraid the Aztecs would hear you.
Yeah. Aztecs were the rich people. Those Aztecs. I'm not even kidding. Do you really think that I'm from like Aztec ancestry?
I don't know.
Or Mayan? It's like you're either you're saying I came from kings and queens and servants, or random buffoons in the forest, which is what it's made out to be. Not buffoons, but
you might, even if you're from Aztec ancestry, doesn't mean you're from royal Aztec ancestry.
Well, they killed everybody. It was just like,
yeah, but they also had tons of fields and tons of people working in the fields.
they just had, there was like slaves and servants, and then like
Yeah, you could. Who knows, Lilu?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. That's why I'm saying. I just probably wasn't an Aztec. Oh, did I just fucking... Better not. Yeah, I don't know the chances of being Aztec. Especially that all of the Aztecs got wiped out. Like what are the chances of that?
Well, what happened is they grew their cities too large, and then they had crop shortages.
Yeah, but they still existed when the Spaniards came over, but then the Spaniards came over and wiped them out with disease and also their little wars.
Oh, maybe I'm thinking of the Mayans.
God damn it,
They
those...
grew their cities too.
No, you're thinking... The Mayans lived...
Who had the big temples?
The big temples were the Aztecs. The Mayans were the ones that had, like... The Mayans were like the Indians of Mexico. Okay, maybe I need to look it up too, because now I feel like I'm getting confused.
No, you were right. The Aztecs and the Spanish. No, I was right. It was climate change that killed off the Mayans and the drought.
That's what I'm talking about.
That killed off that destroyed the Mayan civilization. That caused their like Mayan civilization and their cities to fall apart.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know that, but I'm saying that's where most of my family would come from. Like they'd separated, then they went to like Aztec area and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, either way, both of those cultures coming from that is just not too good. A doomed civilization and a raped culture.
Yeah, stupid Spanish who raped the Aztecs.
Well, if I do come from Aztec or Spaniard, which is usually possible, it's because like the Spaniards took like Aztec great infinity grandmother. I still want an apology from Spain. See, the thing is, like, you're talking about, like, the Mayans that were, like, in a certain area that were growing crops. There was more, like, tribes and stuff that were in the area. Sowing goat ears on goat heads. Sowing goat ears on goat heads. Fucking go through. I really don't get how people can do lineages and like how far back families go. Like it's insanity to me.
Well, if there was written historical records at that time, then you can go back as far as the written record. Like I don't know.
It's just weird to me that like
if you trace your Spanish ancestors back, you could probably go back pretty far.
But it should be like all I have to do is ask my grandma, and then like my grandma wouldn't know, or my other grandma wouldn't know, and it's like, how do you not know who your grandparents were? It's like, at what point of not telling each other who you were? I find that so bizarre. Yeah, I always try to ask my grandma about like stuff when she was a kid. Like I wanted to know about like what it was to be like Hispanic in like a Polish white area, the racism and the what was it when black people were allowed to vote? What was that called?
Supposedly my great grandpa was pretty anti-Semitic. Not the German one, the Swedish one. I never heard anything about the Germans being anti-Semitic, but I heard, because like Cincinnati's a really big Jewish area, it'd probably be hard, but The Swedish ones were anti-Semitic.
I can understand because they were Swedish. They were very anti-Jewish because it's either you pick on the Swedes or the Jews at that time. So
Yeah, they also went to Swedish church and they spoke Swedish. Like, the church they went to was all Swedish. So, I mean, I guess they kind of got some shit back then.
Well, the thing about being anti-Jewish is that, like, it's every religion's kind of does it. Like, Catholicism is basically built off the idea of being against, like, the Jewish religion. And, like, we were always, like, told by, like...
Maybe you can't sit on my lap. You can sit next to me, but I have my computer on my lap, so that means you can't sit on it.
At, like, the end of, like, church, they would always tell you if you would like to, like, bring somebody, they're allowed to come, but they're not allowed to practice because they're not of our church and stuff. They'd always say weird shit. As a kid, I was like, what the hell does that mean?
Well, you're not allowed to take Mass.
Stuff
I mean,
like that.
you can take Mass, but you're not allowed to take the bread and the wine.
Yeah, which is weird to me, too.
Unless you've gone through
But if you...
the thing where that you do when you're, like, 12.
Yeah, I know it's communion, but if you did communion in, like, a different religion, it doesn't count either.
Well, we didn't have communion. You could just take communion whenever you want it. Like,
Exactly.
Like, it didn't matter if you went through the whole fancy Catholic communion thing.
That's...
Like, you could go through it. You could just... If you were, like... When they just passed the little trays around with the little cups of grape juice and the little pieces of bread, and even the kids got one. They're just like, grape juice. That's how it was in our church growing up.
Yeah, and...
There was no wine, it was grape juice because everyone got some.
And in our church, they told us...
Tasty.
Shut up already. Shut up.
Grape juice.
And in our church, they told us, like, people that weren't of our religion were, like destined to go to hell, and they weren't allowed our sacraments, but we should bring them so they could see how beautiful our church was. There's some weird shit. It was just fucking... And again, with like...
To try and convert them.
Yeah, I was trying to convert them. It's just like, bring your friends so we can convert them kind of bullshit. I was like, I don't get this. Like, why can't they have our bread? It's just... Like, who gives a shit? You know, and they really bait you for the idea that, like, Jesus died because of the Jews. So that's where you get your anti-Semitism in the Bible.
Oh yeah.
And it doesn't say the name of the people. It just calls them the Jews or something. I don't even fucking know.
Yeah, but Jesus was Jewish.
I
Like,
know.
people who, like, are anti-Semitic and super Christian forget about that fact, and they forget about how much they share. They're basically the same religion, except for they believe in a prophet that happened after the religion's formed.
Yeah.
They're, like, literally like the Mormons and the regular Christians. That's what it is. The Mormons just believe in one extra prophet and read an extra set of books. Read a few extra chapters.
Well, you know, the difference between the Mormons and normal religion are, like, not... It's a gunshot from, like, a rock throw. You know that. Like, they believe in, like, what's-his-face and the Virgin Mary that lives on a planet filled with virgins for every person.
I don't know.
Isn't it the Mormons?
No.
Yeah, that is.
It's not the Mormons.
Oh my god. Let's look up the Mormon beliefs.
I didn't realize, but the whole Quiverful movement is basically a cult.
The what?
The Quiverful movement. It's the movement the Duggars are in.
Oh.
It's literally a cult. On the phone with Boop Boop. Aaron sent me stuff. Hello.
I don't want to read Mormon.org.
Oh no, don't read that.
I know.
It's Mormon propaganda. Don't read any Mormon propaganda.
Uh. Okay, it's John the Baptist appeared to Joseph Smith, and the Mormon thing is by Joseph Smith. And the Mormons believe that Smith and his legitimate successors are modern prophets who receive revelation from God to guide their church.
I know.
Where is it? Wait, I gotta get past all the... I gotta pass all the normal stuff. They don't believe in creation. Oh, come on, give me all the good stuff.
It's not gonna give you the good.
Oh, here we go. Here's the good stuff. Planet Kolob. This is the top 10 craziest Mormon beliefs. The planet Kolob and the song about it. Kolob is a star or planet described in Mormon scripture. References to Kolob are found in the Book of Abraham, a work published by Latter-day Saint Joseph Smith Jr. According to this book, Kolob is a heavenly body nearest to the throne of the residence of God. The Kolob is a star, also refers to the star. Kolob has been identified as any modern astrological object. Okay, so there's the planet Kolob. Why spend so much time picking on the Mormons? Oh, underwear. Is this the top 100? There's a whole set of Mormon underwear they call temple gardens. Can women get into heaven in the Mormon? A woman can't get into heaven unless her husband lets her in, and once there, she will get to be eternally pregnant with billions of spirit children. That sounds brutal. Excuse me, I gotta go spirit children for a bit. Blah, 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 blah. Spirit childrening. Well, I give them credit for still having polygamy.
They actually don't. It's only certain radical sects that believe in polygamy. The main Mormon church does not believe in polygamy, and they do not find it to be good.
Yeah, I know they can't have coffee, drugs, or tobacco or anything. Multiple heavens. Oh man. I can't find it. I wanted the one where it talked about John Smith being like in Planet Kobab and like him like having sex with the Virgin Mary or something, and we all get to have sex with the Virgin Mary, something crazy. I'm sure all my Mormon fans watching right now as I'm suing Baphomet are like pissed at me. Oh, and the other thing about the Book of the Mormon thing is that they're like, they don't like black people. Like it says something about black skin and stuff. In 1978, God changed his mind about black people. This is terrible. I shouldn't laugh because it's terrible. Oh. They go to say, the Book of Mormon, the line isn't meant to be funny, and it is. Oh my God.
Let's see how much sewing you've gotten done.
I've gotten that done.
Oh, yay.
I'm reading about...
Mormons?
It says that...
Why is your penis pump in the bathroom?
It's getting washed. He described black people as cursed with dark skin as punishment for Cain's murder of his brother. Any man having one drop of the seed of Cain in him cannot hold the priesthood. He declared in 1852, Young deemed black-white intermarriage so sinful that he suggested that a man could atone for him only by having his head cut off and spilling his blood upon the ground. The spirits of black people had sinned in heaven by supporting Lucifer in his rebellion against God. Oh. Oh, I can't even read anymore. It's so terrible. Back to sewing. God, who could believe such crap? Like, I felt weird when I would go to church and they would say that, like, people can't receive the bread. Like, you would think that if someone's there, you'd want to, like, try to convince them to stay. And it's just like a little piece of bread. I know it's the body of Christ, but I mean, wouldn't God want to share that bread? Is it God, Jesus? Wouldn't Jesus want to share that bread? Turn that other cheek, my mom always says. Go through the fucking hole. So it's really interesting to live in California, because where I was at in Chicago, where I was living in Chicago, everybody had kind of like a certain look. It was like, I can't think of. I don't know. It was a really industrial look, I guess. Yeah. And there wasn't that many like grungy looking people, but here in California, it is like this whole vintage punk DIY stuff. Oh, it said that in the book of, or